What if a child's birthday party turned into a nightmare with police sirens blaring, handcuffs rattling, and a $500 fine slapped on a single mother? In Cloverdale, Alabama, Lisa Carter just wanted to make her son's fifth birthday unforgettable, but the HOA had other plans. Stay tuned for a story of joy turned to chaos, where laughter is silenced and a community fights back against injustice. In the heart of Cloverdale, Alabama, a neighborhood known for its orderly lawns and quiet streets, 36-year-old single mother Lisa Carter had built a life of warmth and love. A nurse at the local hospital, Lisa often pulled long shifts to provide for her son, Tommy, who had just turned 5. Tommy was her world, a bright-eyed boy with a love for dinosaurs and a smile that could melt anyone's heart. For months, he'd been begging for a dinosaur-themed birthday party with his preschool friends, and Lisa saved up $300 to make it happen, dreaming of a day filled with joy for her little boy. On April 15th, 2025, a perfect spring afternoon, she set up the party in their backyard, tying green and orange balloons to the fence, renting a bounce house, and ordering a T-Rex-shaped cake. The small speaker she borrowed played Happy Birthday on repeat, filling the air with festive cheer. By 2 p.m., the party was in full swing. 10 children, aged 4 to 6, ran through the backyard, roaring like dinosaurs, bouncing in the inflatable house and chasing each other with plastic T-Rex toys. Lisa stood by the picnic table, slicing the cake, her heart swelling as Tommy shouted, "Mommy, this is the best day ever!" The kids toasted with juice boxes, their laughter a symphony of happiness that echoed through the cul-de-sac. But across the street, 59-year-old HOA President Dorothy Mitchell watched from her pristine colonial-style home, her scowl deepening with every giggle. Dorothy, a retired librarian who had ruled the Cloverdale Homeowners Association for a decade, saw the neighborhood as her canvas of perfection. No untrimmed hedges, no loud noises, nothing to disrupt her vision of order. The children's laughter, the faint music, and the bounce house's squeaks grated on her nerves, and she grabbed her HOA rulebook, flipping to the noise section. No outdoor activities shall exceed acceptable noise levels, with a $500 fine per violation. With a smirk, she wrote down her complaint, muttering, "This party ends now." At 2:45 p.m., just as the kids lined up for a piñata game, the wail of police sirens pierced the spring air. Lisa froze, her heart racing as 2 police cars rolled into the cul-de-sac, their red and blue lights flashing ominously. The children stopped playing, their laughter fading into confused murmurs, as the officers stepped out. Officer Daniel Hayes, a 45-year-old veteran cop with a stern demeanor, led the charge, his radio crackling as he adjusted his belt. "Ma'am, we've had a noise complaint," he barked, his voice cutting through the afternoon hum. Lisa's jaw dropped, her hands trembling as she set down a juice box. "A noise complaint? It's a kid's birthday party," she stammered, her voice rising with disbelief. Dorothy, who had followed in her golf cart, stepped forward with a smug grin, holding her HOA letterhead. "Your party is disrupting the peace," she snapped, her tone dripping with disdain. "You're in violation of Section 12B. That's a $500 fine, payable immediately, or we'll escalate this." The situation spiraled quickly. Officer Hayes, known in Cloverdale for his bias toward the HOA, after years of working with Dorothy, didn't hesitate. "If you don't pay or shut this down, I'll have to arrest you for disturbing the peace," he warned, his tone icy, unhooking his handcuffs with a metallic clank. Lisa's eyes widened, her breath catching in her throat. "Arrest me? For a birthday party?" she cried, her voice breaking. Tommy ran to her side, his small sobs muffled against her leg, as the other children began to cry, their whimpers filling the air. The bounce house deflated with a mournful hiss as Lisa turned off the music and ushered the kids inside. The parents, murmuring in confusion, gathered their children and left, their car doors slamming shut as they drove away. Dorothy handed Lisa the $500 fine notice, her golf cart humming as she drove off, leaving behind the scent of exhaust in the spring air. Lisa stood in her now silent backyard, the fine notice trembling in her hands, her tears dripping onto the page. The joy of Tommy's birthday had been stolen, replaced by fear and frustration. She couldn't let this go. The next day, word of the incident spread through Cloverdale, whispered from porch to porch, the outrage growing like a wildfire. The other mothers in the neighborhood, many with children Tommy's age, were furious. By noon, 15 mothers and their children gathered on Lisa's lawn, determined to make a stand. They organized a protest unlike any Cloverdale had seen, a Dan Hop schwang of young voices singing "Happy Birthday" in unison, the melody echoing through the streets, a defiant act of solidarity. Neighbors opened their windows, some joining in with claps and cheers, their support a rhythmic drumbeat that carried the song even further. The protest caught the attention of the Cloverdale Chronicle, which ran a front-page story the next week. Mother fined $500 for son's birthday party, HOA Overreach? The headline read, the reporter's voice amplifying the community's anger through a radio interview. Lisa, bolstered by the support, decided to fight back. She hired a lawyer, Karen Wells, spending her savings on legal fees, determined to clear her name. Karen, a 40-year-old attorney with a passion for justice, argued that the HOA's noise rule was too vague and that the police overstepped by threatening arrest over a children's party, her voice steady in the courtroom. The trial became a spectacle in Cloverdale. On the day of the hearing, the courtroom filled with supporters, many of them mothers who brought their children, some holding balloons as a quiet reminder of the party that started it all. Lisa took the stand, her voice trembling but resolute, recounting the day. It was Tommy's birthday, she said, her words breaking with emotion. All I wanted was for him to be happy. Karen presented noise studies proving the party's sound levels were within legal limits, her arguments clear and compelling. But Dorothy and Officer Hayes were unyielding. Dorothy claimed the party disrupted the peace of Cloverdale, her voice sharp and nasal, while Officer Hayes insisted the arrest threat was standard procedure, his tone gruff. The judge, a 62-year-old known for favoring HOA contracts, sided with the HOA, his gavel slamming down with a resounding thud. The bylaws are clear, he declared, his voice booming. Lisa was ordered to pay the $500 fine, plus $3,000 in HOA legal fees. The verdict a crushing blow that left her gasping in disbelief. The aftermath was grim. The HOA, emboldened by the ruling, banned all outdoor parties, announcing the new rule at the next meeting. Dorothy's voice echoing through the community center speakers with a new fine of $700 for violations. Lisa, financially strained, picked up extra shifts at the hospital, her evenings now quiet without the laughter of children in her yard. Tommy stopped asking for parties, his small voice barely a whisper when he mentioned his next birthday. The joy of that spring day, a distant memory. Cloverdale, once a place of community, became a battleground, with residents fearing the HOA's iron grip on their lives. And so a day meant for celebration became a battle for justice in Cloverdale, Alabama. Was Lisa wrong to throw a birthday party for her son? Or did the HOA and police go too far with their rules? What do you think? Should a child's laughter be silenced for the sake of peace? Share your thoughts and join us next time for another tale of HOA madness. Until then, keep fighting for what's right. Thank you for listening.